Okay, so you have, everyone find your sine, cosine, and tangent buttons on your calculator. You probably haven't used those on this calculator unless you've taken the ACT since the beginning of the school year. Okay, most of you, this calculator is new to you. I have up here the 83. If you have an 84, it's all going to be the same. Okay, these are the four calculations we're going to make. Okay, so the first two are fairly straightforward. Okay, we have a cosine button and we have a sine button. The first thing that you need to be very careful with is the mode of your calculator. For our first calculation, what mode should our calculator be in? Degrees. I don't know if you've ever even changed the mode in your calculator, but let me show you how to do that. Up here at the very top, right next to the second button, there's a button called Mode. Click it and it'll give you a menu. Okay, we want to be in degree mode. Anything that's highlighted, that is the mode that is selected. Right now, is my calculator in degree mode? It is not. So I need to arrow down and I need to select degree mode. Now that is highlighted instead of radian, we're good to go. To get out of this menu, you just have to press second quit. We used that when you're doing all of our matrix work. Okay, so now I can type in the cosine of 120. Since it's in degree mode, it knows that 120 is a degree measurement. And the cosine of 120 degrees is negative 0.5. Now, sine of 7 pi over 5. Can I type that in right now? No, we are not in radian mode, and 7 pi over 5 is a radian measurement. So we need to go back to mode and select radian. Then we can type in sine of 7 pi over 5. Is everyone okay with that mode button? Changing it back and forth. Oh, the 7 and the pi got kind of squished together. I'm sorry about that. Yeah? It should not be degree mode. It should be radian mode.
Oh, sorry.
Are you in radian mode? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's in radian mode.
Okay. So now hit second enter. Here. Clear this out. Hit second and enter. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna go through something with your calculator. So Chad typed this in and he was like, oh, I didn't get the right answer. He had forgotten to change his mode. And he went back and changed his mode. Instead of having to type it in again, if you press second enter, it brings up the exact same thing you just typed. Okay? You can use that to save some time. Or if now you need like the sine of 6 pi over 5, you know, you can bring back up what you typed in and change something. Okay? All right. I know sometimes it can be a pain to type things in over and over again, so use some of those shortcuts to help you. Now, cosecant and secant. Look on your calculator. Do you have those buttons? Maybe. You do not have those buttons. I would not suggest trying to find it in the menu. That's going to take more time than what we can do. But what do we know about the cosecant function? What's its relationship to another trig function? Talk about it with your pod first. Secant and cosecant, what are their relationships to the other trig functions? See if you guys can remember at your pod. Talk to each other. Okay. You brainstormed with your pod. Hopefully it's not as scary to give an answer up here. What's the relationship with cosecant and another function? Was that you, Fiona? What did you say? Inverse is close. We do have, so there's two words, inverse and there's reciprocal. Okay? Inverse is the ones you see with like the sign and the -1. Okay? Reciprocal would be these two functions here. And when we get into inverse, we'll see exactly what that inverse means. But secant and cosecant, we call them the reciprocal functions. What is the reciprocal of cosecant? Sine. So the cosecant is the same thing as 1 over sine. So if we want the cosecant of 24 degrees, we can type in 1 divided by the sine of 24 degrees. Do we have the sine button on our calculator? Yes, we do. Okay, so we would need to go back to our mode and change it back to degrees. Then, to evaluate the cosecant, we would type in 1 divided by the sine of 24. So now if we want the secant of 5 pi over 12, what is the reciprocal of secant? Cosine. All right. So if we want the secant, we would need to type in 1 divided by the cosine of 5 pi over 12. I did this on purpose. We do need to go back to mode and change it back to radians if we want to evaluate a trig function in radian measurement. So if we type in 1 divided by the cosine of 5 pi over 12, we get our measurement. Now, some of you are sitting here like, okay, this is easy, I can do this. I will tell you that I have kids every year who don't practice secant, cosecant, and cotangent in their calculators. They don't do it in their homework. They don't do it on the review. They get to the quiz, they can't remember how to do it. Okay? So as simple as this feels, and it is pretty simple, you still need to practice it so that you get that reminder, you get the routine of using those reciprocal functions. Okay? Also, something that happens every year, I have a student take the quiz and they never change the mode of their calculator. Okay? If you do these 4 problems and you're in degree mode the whole time, you get 2 of them wrong, even if you type them in the right way. Okay? So please be careful as to which mode your calculator is in. Even if you do the problem correct, if the mode is wrong, you're not getting the right answer, okay? And then that goes for like the problems we did yesterday. Nope, not the problems we did yesterday. The problems we'll do today. If you don't have the correct mode, things are going to go off, all right? Okay, the next thing I want to do is talk about right triangle trig. This will be the 3rd year in a row that you talk about right triangle trig. I don't feel that's something that I need to come up here and write out on the board for you, okay? I want you to do a little bit of the work yourself. First of all, I don't want to bore you, and I want to see how much you can remember, okay? So I'm going to give you this half piece of paper, okay? Your first job is to take this triangle and label it with the words opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent, and then write out all of the ratios, okay? Your next job is to do a specific example. It gives you the sine of theta is 3/4. You need to label your triangle, and then you need to fill in all of the ratios, okay? On the back of this half piece of paper, I want you to label your special right triangles. You have two special right triangles. One of them has angles of what? 30, 60, and 90. And the other one? Okay. What do I mean by label these? I want you to label the relationships. Like if this side is X, what would this side be? What would this side be? Okay? Because you're going to need to be able to use those relationships to solve any special right triangle problem. So, I am going to have you fill out the front side, turn it over, draw and label these on the back. When your group, you're doing this as a group, when your group is finished, I will come to you, call me over, I will check your work, and once it is correct, I'll have you start your homework. Okay? What a nice Friday treat, right? Starting your homework in class. Okay? It should not be silent in here because you are working together as a pod on this. Let's do it.